No. All right, today we're going to take a part-time hiatus before moving on to proteins to something I meant to do on Friday. So I slightly deviated from the syllabus. All right, so welcome to week 4. We're nearly a quarter of the way through the semester, if you can believe that, because I know I certainly cannot. But here we are on a very Monday-y Monday. We are hoofing it through. So, my bad on this. At the end of the week this week, and you'll see that I adjusted the due date to make up for the fact that I totally forgot about this. So your syllabus says this is due the 5th. I bumped it to the 7th since I forgot to tell you and introduce this on Friday. So same number of days that I forgot about it, you've now been given a short extension, so please be very aware of this. It should all be reflected nicely on your eLearn deadlines now. So our next research lesson is coming up due, and this is a much bigger one than one of the ones that we have been working on lately, so I'm going to take some time out of class to pause and talk about it. That's how you know it's a big deal, right? So at the bottom of our current week, which is where I'm at, right? Here we're on week 4. Right, here's our lesson, and it's so important, right? You can see it's actually made one of our goals at the top. Right, so I know and saying this is a big deal. So, lesson 3, which is the research lesson we're on right now, is the most important of all of your research lessons. And I do not say that lightly. The reason for this is because you're going to do 2 things over the course of this research lesson, right? Remember our research lessons, the goal of which is to help us both be able to identify the skills needed to write the research paper and to actually get all of the resources we need to do so. So when we actually get to the point, about a month-ish from now, to write that research paper, we have everything we need to do so except to sit down and put words on paper. You won't need to do any research or any back stuff. All of that we'll have done over the course of the process of these research lessons. So this is the first lesson that we're going to sit down and do that, which is why it's so important. So we have 2 goals here, which are outlined at the top as well, right? Our first goal is choose the topic for our research paper, okay? Our second goal is, while we are doing that, we are going to get the first of 2 resources for our research paper. Okay, so this is why I mean it's so big, but you're going to get a lot done, right, a lot out of this towards your final essay when we get this completed. Okay, but this also means you want to make sure that you take a little time and make sure that when we do this, that we've done good, thorough thought. Right? Because 1, you want to pick a topic that actually interests you, or you're going out of your way to be super miserable. And 2, we want to make sure that the article that we've chosen is good, both in readability. Again, we don't want to be miserable when we're writing this paper, so we want something that we can honestly read, and something that's going to support us. Okay, so you can see there are a couple of things that it says to do, the first of which, are you recording me, my dear? You are so awesome. The first of which is actually to watch this. I have a very short video, so please make sure you do that. You will not actually be able to submit the assignment, right, until you do that. So make sure that you do that and that you do not wait until like 10 o'clock at night on Sunday, because if something gets messed up or locked or triggered, right, getting help at 10 o'clock at night on Sunday is going to be super hard, right? Okay. Oops. I hit that little camera feature a lot. Whoever uses that to take screenshots, that's just sad. All right. So if I click on this then, right? This is going to give me the assignment that I need to fill out. I'm going to kind of go through how I want to do this, okay, as well as one other resource that's going to be super duper useful, usefully named Lesson 3 instructions. So when I'm doing this, after I've watched the video, I want to have both of those open. Okay, which I already have. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. Once I have watched the video and I'm ready to go, I'm going to open up my Lesson 3 Instructions on Topic PDF. And this thing, that red resource, is going to help me or guide me through everything I need to do from here on out. I'm going to walk through this a little bit, and I highly recommend that you take bullets. And what I'm doing is just going to help you a lot to be successful. All right, so you see as we're doing this, the first thing I get to do is choose my topic, right? Choosing the broad topic and my subtopic. Okay, meaning, okay, I'm going to choose a bold option. That's the broad topic. And then underneath that, like, so if we're looking at option 1, which is mutualism, okay, there's 6 choices. So I would say I'm choosing mutualism, okay, mutualism of, right, plant and bacteria. That's not what I'm going to choose, but let's say that's what it was. Okay. That's a whole topic, right? So I need both parts. Can't say that enough. Okay. Start yourself out on a good foot because it's going to make your life so much easier. So you see up here that I have lots of choices, a lot of variety of things that could be interesting. So I have a variety of mutualisms that I can choose from, 6 different combinations. Okay, I have a variety of challenges I can choose from. Okay, now challenges are just difficulties, right? So challenges of either plants or animals living to extreme conditions. Okay, extreme conditions, we're just talking about harsh environments, or places like the desert, right, or Antarctica, or the deep ocean. Okay, places that we can imagine it would be very hard to live in. All right, so if I'm picking that, it's hard to be an animal somewhere. Okay, then I want to think about why is it hard to be that animal there? And maybe because it's difficult to grow up, it's difficult to find food, it's difficult to have babies, right? What kinds of things am I interested in? Okay, for option 3, okay, I might be interested in how groups of animals, okay, are responding to climate change. Okay, so species interaction, just literally 2 or more species, okay, or a community perhaps, as they respond to climate change. Okay, the food chain one is more common. Okay, so I might think about how do wolves that are eating the elk, okay, respond to a shifting climate. Okay, and then we see option 4, which is kind of the more simplified number 3. Okay, how does climate change affect something? Okay, so we see I have 3 options here, which is just how scaled or how big I want to look at this. Okay, I can look at an individual. Okay, how does it affect a single inside the body? Okay, a population. Remember, that's many individuals of one type. Right, so how does climate change affect red deer? Okay, or population's effect on a community. Okay, the squirrels and red deer. I don't know what your jam is, right? Okay. Whatever it is, though, you just want to think about as you're flipping through here, what is it that's super interesting to me? Okay, something biology. Okay, but what is it that's interesting to me? Okay, so we can see for here, my example is I've chosen a mutualism of an animal and a fungus. Right, so that's getting both parts. Mutualism, there's my broad topic. Animal and a fungus is the subtopic. So that's a whole topic for me. So I would go back to this sheet then. And this is what I would put here. Or something legible, right? All right, so all I've done then to fill that first box is picked a whole topic set off that first page. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, I just have to find what speaks to my soul. Okay, so now I can see that my next step is broad keywords. So what's all that business about? What do I want? This. All right, so this one's not too bad. Okay, broad keywords is exactly how it sounds. So I'm going to take whatever my topic was, and I need to narrow my topic a little bit, right? So if I was doing mutualism of animal and fungus, okay, that is a big topic, right? I certainly can't do mutualism of all animals and all fungus that have ever existed in the history of ever, okay? I couldn't, even as like a faculty member trying to get published, write something on that and not kill myself, okay? Y'all are just going to write me a 2-page paper, too big, okay? So really what you want to ask yourself is, what kind of mutualisms of animals and fungus might I want to do, okay? So now we're going to trot ourselves over to tried and true Google or a search engine of your choice. I don't know, live your best life. Okay, so I would go to Google. And now I want to find what version of this is going to be interesting and tangible. So what this first box is asking me is, when you go to Google, what did y'all do? And not how does Google work, right? But so when I go to Google and I wanted to look at animal fungus mutualisms, what did you literally type into the Google search bar? Okay, and so you can kind of see I did some example Google searches here. Some of them are made up because I start making stuff up, but this is fine. So the idea here is, whatever your topic is, you need to start narrowing it down so it's doable. Okay, so for mine, I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up to our topics page. Right, if we look at our mutualism box, I regret everything. This is fine. Okay, mutualism is fine. I don't need to identify anything there. But the thing that I need to worry about are things like fungus bacteria, animal bacteria, animal plant. Okay? As we just mentioned, I could not do mutualism of all animals and all fungi. Okay? So I'm really worried on, let's narrow these words down. So if I were to do that, oh, there's quite a lag today. I would go into Google, right, and I might type very lazily, right, just mutualism, comma, animal, comma, fungi. Why not, right? Just see what happens. Right, Google's pretty dependable. It's probably going to spit something out. Okay? As these things spit out, you see I've got 2 different places that we can look at results. So the left-hand side here certainly probably looks familiar. This is just a Google result sheet. It's not that exciting. Okay? But our key here is we're exploring options. Okay, so Rude. I might pull something like this up. Mutualisms between fungi and animals. Because remember, can't write about all the fungi and all of the animals on the planet, so I need to pick one set. Right? I need to narrow this down. I kind of want to pick something cool. I don't know what that is. I'm not even normally a fungi person. So those are good places to go. Okay. The other place you can go, kind of weirdly, is what you're seeing here. So all I did here is click the Images tab. Okay, a bunch of pictures come up. Pictures are kind of charismatic anyway. Okay, but you get a really quick peek at, well, what are some of the mutualisms? And then, you know, they'll have links under them, so you can kind of go look and check it out really fast. Okay, this is not something right away that you're going to spend a ton of time on, right? You're literally just looking to see, is this cool? Right? Am I going to be interested in this? And of course, does it exist without going to page 35? Because you don't want to always have to spend 12 years trying to find this again, right? Then you want a lot of info on it. So we're narrowing this down. You see, I've made up some crap, right? So you can kind of see. But the key here is, remember, I could not write a paper on all of the animals and all of the fungi, so I needed to narrow those two things down. So I chose an animal, right, and a fungus. That are in a mutualistic relationship together, that I thought were cool. Okay, so this is what we want to be doing. Hey, come here, you. On my sheet, the first thing you see are broad keywords. Let me write. Thank you. This is literally, what did you Google? Just list your words. Okay? This may be very simple, right? I mentioned it might just be mutualism, fungus, animal. And if it's that easy, great. Okay? If it wasn't, if you had to try a couple other things, just put them on here, right? It's not necessarily a right or a wrong way, as long as you're honest about what you did. Okay, my narrow topic then, okay, tell me how you fix your original topics. Remember, my broad topic was mutualism, animal, fungus. And if I look at this, animal is a problem. Okay, I can't write a paper on all animals. Fungus is a problem. I can't write a paper on all fungi, right? So when I come down into my narrow topic, I would say mutualism. And then say, what are the two narrowed parts that fix that to a way that's tangible to me? All right, so this is where you get scorpions and whatever, you know, whatever it is you've chosen. So if we go back, hush, and look at this, ooh, that was neat, wasn't it? Okay, any of these, those need to be narrowed, right? What would my animal, what would my bacteria be? What would my plant, what would my fungus be? Everybody see that? Okay, if I'm in option 2, okay, these are all fine. Okay, but if I look in the option, I have the same problem up here. What would my plant or animal be, right? Let's slim this down. I want to do all plants and animals. Pick a plant or an animal. And then I have to pick an extreme condition. So I might pick something like cacti in the desert. Right, so cacti. Oops, cacti are plants, right? Not animals. My bad on that, guys. Right, so challenges of a plant. So I need to narrow that plant. My plant would be cacti. So living in an extreme condition, my extreme condition would be, I guess, very dry, like in a desert. Or I could go hot with that, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, over here on the climate change one, right, we're just picking what's the population that you're interested in, right? Choose my organisms. Okay, so whatever your topic, right, find the thing that you need to narrow down, and that's what we're doing in step 2. We're using Google keywords to search, right, learn more, get some background on your topic, and then narrowing your topic to something that you could feasibly write about. Okay, with me so far? Every time. All right, so here I am in my narrowed topic. Right, mutualism of rock scorpions and rock fungi or whatever. All right, narrowed hoo-ha I came up with here. So we see my next box is saying specific keywords. So now we know I'm going to search something again. Okay, but there's no point in going back to Google. We already did that, right? So now we need to go somewhere else. Oh, great PDF. Where do we go next? Okay, so now we're going to go to UC Quest. So at this stage, we have our topic, right? So goal number 1 is achieved. So now we still need to achieve goal number 2, okay, which is finding a resource that's going to support our essay and our topic. Okay, so as you can see, I have very specific qualifications that we want to make sure we hit, as well as some hints, okay, in case it's been a while since your class has had the librarian or whatever come in. Okay. So as we think about our qualifications, okay, we've got 3 major ones we want to hit. The first one is that our paper is peer-reviewed. What does it mean for a scientific work to be peer-reviewed? It's looked over by my peers. Okay, good. So what does it mean to be a peer? Okay, if I submit an article, can Jasmine review it for me? Okay, but why? Good, right? It needs to be a professional from the field. So maybe soon. Okay, but not yet, right? So these are individuals who have been working in the same field as you for a long time, right? So usually other professionals, right, who are experts in the field. So when we say peers, right, we definitely don't mean friends, right? That's actually a box you have to check that says, I don't know these people. And the feedback's usually kind of mean, so they usually don't know or like you. Right. But basically, this is someone that's looking at whatever the paper is and says, this is good science. Okay? Whatever they did makes sense and is rigorous. whatever that they're talking about, the conclusions that they've made, is good and is rigorous, right? If not, right, it gets kicked back to you, you got to fix it, or it never gets published in the first place. Okay, bullet point number 2, readability. Okay, I mean this when I say this. Okay, you definitely, I'm bunched up now. Okay, want to make sure that whatever you're picking is something that's manageable and interesting. Okay, so there are a lot of very readable articles out there, okay, that set up like the kinds of experiments that we do together. Okay, my recommendation is choose those. Okay, there are some papers out there that are really hardcore. Okay, there's a lot of modeling, there's a lot of back theory work. If that's your jam, that's great, right? Hit it up. Do what works for you. But just be cognizant, right, that you do not need to choose the longest, right? There are 60 stone pages, right? Or the most complicated paper to fulfill your needs, right? There are lots of less than 10-page papers that are set up with regular experimental designs that are definitely at your reading level, and they will be great. Okay, so if the first couple you find are too hard, that's fine, man. Keep looking, right? Some scientists just write like jerks. It's a thing. It's not you. It's them, right? And lastly, in addition to having a paper, you need to choose within this, and we're going to go through how you do this, either a figure or a table that also relates directly to your topic. Meaning that this figure or table has to specifically and directly have your topic in it. Okay, so, given the example we've been running here, the figure that I choose has to specifically show, right, scorpions and fungi in that figure in one way or another, right? Or it's not a good figure or table, whatever chosen. Right, so I have several examples here on what that should look like. Okay, generally with me so far? Like whistling up here. Okay, so I have some examples on how this looks, but just as a reminder. So here I am back on our homepage. Okay, Jasmine last week was talking very highly of this bar across the top of any of your e-learn pages. I'm going to reiterate how great that is, because we can also get to the library really fast from here. Okay, so next to where you guys pulled your tutoring tag, which is from this Academic Success Center, right, you can see, wow, peer tutoring is the second link there. My UC library is the second or third tab over, and this is going to take us everywhere we want on the library. Generally speaking, I would point out there's a ton of really great, cool, and useful stuff here. Okay, for the sake of what I'm doing, I don't care about any of it, except this top link here, where it says Library Services. My top link is UC Quest. Okay, this is what we're going to use for our first assignment. This is going to take us to where all of the academic journals are. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And it's going to think about it. Really hard. All right, here we are. So this almost looks, where am I? Like that I have on the right-hand side. But you can see I'm missing some stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do, as mentioned in blue here, is click this advanced search feature. Okay, we can see that's under here. Okay, this is going to give me a lot of additional options when I'm doing my search, which will not only allow me to add more words a little easily, okay, but also limit the types of results it's going to give me. So I can get rid of newspaper clippings and textbooks. Ain't nobody going to read that, right? So we want to get rid of that kind of business. Let it think about what it's done here. Okay, so up here at the top, right, that's kind of more or less the same. And I would still put in, well, whatever it is that I want to search here. Okay, the rest of this stuff down here is the stuff we want to pay attention to. Okay. And you see I have several recommendations here. Okay. The big key here is we have this peer-reviewed option. And there's a couple places we can do it, but I want to check that. Right, that was one of our 3 bullets that we needed to have. Okay, so this is going to make sure that they're not going to give us any weird stuff, right? No children's books or any of that kind of stuff. Okay. I actually cannot search this on rock lobsters. So I'll look at what I was actually searching before so we can do this. Okay. So I picked something random and one that you can't do because it's 2 animals, but you guys will be able to see what it's done. So here's my mutualism and my 2 organisms that I would do. Okay. You can put in as much here as you want or as little as you want, but the key here is I want my narrow topic to come here. Okay, so you see a couple of things have happened. Okay, along the kind of like leftish side, you see all of these things are now listed as academic journals. Okay, which is really helpful to us. Right, so we've gotten rid of newspaper clippings, children's books. Hopefully there won't be any like major dissertations here, which are like 150 words or pages. So we can use this, okay, to start looking through and find, okay, well, what looks interesting? Okay, what looks readable, right? So here's where I would start looking for titles that look like they fulfill my topic and also seem accessible to me. Okay, if this doesn't seem like it's working, okay, I happen to know this one works because I did it, but I have very few. Okay, that's okay. We can go back up here. We can change our searches, right? Broaden it, narrow it, whatever needs to happen, right? Okay, so here again, if I'm filling my box for my specific keywords, all it's asking is what went into UC Quest. Okay, now I'm going to pause here and really reinforce this, okay, because what I end up seeing far too often is for the narrow topic and the specific keywords is students are just taking whatever paper they've chosen and they copy and paste the keywords that come from the paper. So if I bring up a paper really quick, one randomly so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This one's going to be terrible. So it looks like some disease outbreak. Not a good choice. Okay. But you can see on here, okay, almost all papers are going to have keywords. Okay. These are keywords that would help you Google this specific paper. Okay, and the details that are found in this specific paper, not your topic, right? So do not pull those. One, I'm probably going to be able to tell because those are crazy hyper-specific, right? Filariasis, Staphylophiliaria. Okay, this is not your topic. Okay, so this isn't going to help you in the future, which is what these key terms are for. Okay, plus copying and pasting generally is not a good call, and we'll talk about that in a hot second. So make sure when you're doing this that these are your keywords. Okay, what did you use to navigate and find your paper in UC Quest? Okay, on the plus side then, if you happen to lose your paper or you don't end up liking your paper, you can use this stuff to start again without having to restart all the way, right? Okay, when I finish, then you see I have a little bit of information here that said, what paper did you pick? And then on that paper, okay, what's the figure that you chose from it that also supports your topic? Okay, and so you see for most of these, it's what is the journal? What is it about? Why is it a good choice? Pardon me. What is the figure you took from your paper? What is it about? And why is it a good choice? Okay. Again here, do not copy and paste. Okay, so when I'm asking for the description of the study, do not paste the abstract in there. Right? You already have that. That's not helpful. Okay? What I'm looking for is you. Right? I want to see how you describe the study. Okay? What were the main points that you got, that you understand? And this is a way that you can also address how readable is this, right? What did I get out of here? Okay, am I getting the main points? Okay, and then for the next box over, right, how well did I get those main points as they pertain to the stuff I care about? All right, same thing as we look at figures and tables. So let's look at a version of this that's completed. We'll do that together. So here's a paper that I've picked. Okay, still following that oxpecker, and I chose hippopotamus, not rock. What does it not matter? Okay, so for the title and the author, right, that part's pretty straightforward. Okay, but you see for the description of study, right, if you pull this title again, this is me writing, right? Right? So I'm generally saying, like, look, this paper's pretty dramatic, right? Habitat dies, sucks for the animals, things are dying, right? Okay, so the key here is I'm not copying and pasting. Okay, same thing when I pop over to how is this relating it. Okay, so I'm saying, this is directly saying, in addition to all animals are dying, okay, this is directly talking about how is this affecting the relationship between the two animals I care about. Okay, so I don't have paragraphs and paragraphs, but okay, if I didn't go back and have to reread the whole article again, I got some major pieces there, right? This is useful to me as a tool. Okay, same thing if I look at my figure. Okay, so all I've done here is tell you where it is. It's the second figure. It's on page 8 of the article, which you will also turn in, right? You're going to download two things, this and then the actual article so I can look at it. Okay, again here, what is the figure about? Okay, I do not want to copy. Okay, here you can see this is the figure legend, very complicated and ugly looking. This is not what I've put in the description box, right? What I did was read the paper and said, what does this mean? What is actually happening in this figure? Okay, so again, I don't need to go back and reread everything. Okay, and then once again, I want to say, well, why does this matter? Okay, so I want to sum that up. And my important pull here is, you know, as I look at this, and let's go ahead and pull up what I think a good figure is. Okay, we can directly see the relationship between our two organisms. That was one of my important features, right? and how their changing welfare affects each other. And that's what I care about. Okay, so overall, the paper is talking about relationships of the birds and the hippopotami. That's easy enough. But the graph and table choice is the biggest pitfall. If you don't pass this, this is one of the biggest places it will happen. So you want to pause and say, do I see my topic here? Okay, so you can see directly my topic here, right? I can take my pen out and say, okay, in the blue section, right? It's red-bellied and whatever, yellow-bellied oxpeckers, that's what those stand for. But I just circled in and said, here's the bird half. Okay, I can see the first couple of my mutualism. Okay? At the bottom here, okay, it's a whole bunch of parks, okay, that are turning in the densities of their big mammals, rhinoceroses, hippopotami, whatever. Okay? So these are where my large animals are. Okay, so in this graph, I have relationships of birds to large animals. Okay, if I was doing climate change on polar bears, whatever, what's your shtick, right? I would want something, something polar bears, something, something climate, okay? What would a good climate axis look like? What could we track with climate? Temperature. Temperature would be a great one. Time might actually work as well, right? So any of these things would work great. Okay. I cannot express enough how valuable it will be to take your time and start this early. So if you're feeling frustrated, you can get help before Sunday, right? You can set up a tutoring appointment for this. You can set up office hours for this, and it's a good use. Okay. The last thing I want to mention is when you guys are doing your Socratives, please make sure when you put your names in that you're going last name, first name. If you don't, your names get lost in the mix and you may be counted absent. Okay, so be very cognizant of how you do these things. Okay, please start looking at this stuff early. I know it's not due till Sunday, but this really is not a last-minute assignment. Not